Welcome back to One on One with Mr. Yu. I'm your host, of course, Mr. Yu. In studio with us today, Chancellor Jackson, entrepreneur, football coach, educator, a whole bunch of stuff, man. Glad to have you in the house, brother. How are you today?
Hey, appreciate you, family. Appreciate you having me on. Can't complain. Blessed and highly favored. Big shout out to the viewers out there. Y'all the real MVPs, man. How you doing?
Good, man. It's an early morning, but they all are for me, so it's all good. Let's get into our chat, man. We had such a great time in our pre-interview chat. We talked about a lot of stuff, so I'm hoping we had the time to get into a lot of this. I'll do my best to try to facilitate that and make it happen. All right, so talk to me about young Chancellor. How are things growing up with you, man? How'd you come out?
I had a great childhood. I grew up in Smyrna, Georgia. It's a community that was redlined back in the day for all the African Americans to live, but it's still standing to this day. So it's pretty historical. But it's a huge community. We got a huge park, playground, basketball court, tennis court. We had churches, corner stores, clinics. We had our own school in the community. So it's literally like a one-stop shop. You really had to go too far to get necessities and entertainment, especially for us kids. It's like the park is in the middle of the neighborhood. So, and it's a huge community. So it was a lot of kids. We had a lot of fun. So it was a great childhood. And then of course we got to start playing football. We didn't start playing football till around like 7th and 8th grade. My brother and I shifted everything, and that just became the main focus and goal. As far as what we wanted to do post high school. So played all throughout high school, got the opportunity to play in college. And yeah, so that's pretty much a lump sum of childhood.
No, that's good. I want to come back to that in a little bit, but I want you to flesh out the whole red line neighborhood.
Okay.
Break it down for those that may not know what that means and what it's about. Share that with our listeners and viewers if you can for us.
So redlining is pretty much a sector of land, that is geared towards specific groups of people to live in or to be able to buy property. So Rose Garden has been around since I want to say probably right before the 50s, if not around the 50s. It's been around for a long time. Okay. So yeah, that's originally it was all African American community. But of course, gentrification is fine, especially modern times now. It's in full effect.
Yeah, it's happening in my neck of the woods back in New York too. I went back to a place where I remember this place. It's called Fort Greene. I just put it out here. It's not even a secret anymore. But this is a place where back in the day I couldn't walk without looking over my shoulder. My life would literally be in danger walking down here. Went back about 8 years ago to visit. Same place. It's next to Barclays Arena now with Brooklyn Nets playing everything. Walked over there. Talk about storefronts, people rolling the strolls. I mean, this stuff never happened. That was not that. It was not that. It was like Death City over there. Anything can happen. So this gentrification. You got that right, brother. All right. So you had a interesting point that you made about your upbringing. You said you had a good childhood, which I definitely appreciate hearing because I don't hear that very often. But what was the impact of not having a father in the household for you? Because I can relate to that, and it kind of makes you go certain directions in life.
For sure.
You probably didn't do what I did, but you look like you turned out a whole lot better than where I started. But what's the impact of not having a father in the household for you personally, and then the impact on your mom, and then how you started going into football? So kind of a 3-part question there.
Yeah, it was really just having a male figure to model. But fortunately, we still had communication. So it was like he wasn't there physically, but we still had a relationship, and we talked. So it was just still having somebody that you can see go through life. That's you're going to be in those shoes one day. So you having a replica or a model to.
I think we got you froze there, brother. Can you hear me, sir? Look like you're frozen. This is live podcasting, y'all. This kind of stuff happens. Never a dull moment in this world. All right. Well, Chancellor's having some technical issues. We'll bring him back in as soon as he gets everything worked out on his end. But some of the things that we've been hearing from him, I think would be insightful for you guys. Before he went out, he was talking about the impact of not having a father in his household and how he was giving an answer how his mom adjusted to that situation. And we want to get into a little bit about how young men in that same situation can kind of pivot in life, kind of like he did, and kind of have the kind of drive and determination to, change some things and to make some adjustments. Got a listener in, BBB. Good to have you in the house, sir. Good afternoon. Good morning, really. Thanks for joining us. All right, he's back in the house with us. I'll give him a little recap of what you were saying before we went out, but we didn't hear a whole lot. So go ahead and reset us from the beginning of that 3-part question, man.
So having a father is just having a role model, somebody that you can physically witness, that's already went through adulthood, at least the journey of life up until adulthood.
Okay.
Show you the ropes, show you the blueprint, the do's and don'ts, give you their lessons on what they had to learn the hard way, so you don't have to turn around and do the same thing. But fortunately, I had the opportunity to have mentors. We had it was an old school group of Q dogs, and but it was one of the fathers, and they came and mentored all the boys at the school. Like every Wednesday or Friday, we had to wear suits, and they taught us how to tie ties. They took us on field trips to Montgomery, Alabama, and just learn about Black history, putting us around other successful black men and stuff like that. So I had moments and opportunities like that to witness positive male role models. And then once it came into playing football, it was always great to have somebody that at least, can help guide you through the sport if you don't know what you're doing yourself. I'm 13 years old. I'm just now jumping into football. Football since they was 4 and 5, and their daddies played high school, some played collegiately or professionally. So they know how the process works. They know the preparation it takes to truly excel at this sport. But I had to learn all that on my own. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
Yeah,
that's an important point, though.
Yeah,
that you learn it all by yourself.
Yeah, facts. And as far as Dukes, she really wasn't. Of course, she was distraught, but they separated like when I was a baby. So, and they weren't married or nothing like that. So, yeah, she moved on pretty quickly.
Okay. That's okay. I want to ask you something about this because you mentioned about how you're doing it by yourself. And I kind of felt like there was some shades of that in my upbringing as well. My mom was solid. She was a rock. She tried to play both sides of the fence for me. Yeah. Took me out the bike ride. Let me go hit the baseball, have my Rollins glove, and let me go, play catch and work on my fastball, all that kind of stuff. I mean, help me shoot hoop, just encourage, the athlete that I thought was developing in me, even with football too. But what kind of advice can you give to young men that might be watching, or people who may have young men in their life that are in that kind of situation, maybe single parents that have young men and their father's not there, even though your household, it wasn't like many of those that may be listening and watching? What kind of advice would you give to young men that were in a similar spot like you were in?
Well, what these kids got nowadays is technology, man. Like the internet is powerful. You might not be able to come across a male mentor physically, at least not initially. But man, there's so many positive social influencers out here that you can follow, and watch their content, keep up with them, and just feed your brain substance. That's the biggest thing. Feed your brain substance. Y'all on your phones all day, every day, feeding it a bunch of bull. So find some balance. Find some balance. You see, watching what Cardi B and Offset got going on. They don't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's not critical. But before we get into your football career, what you're aspiring to do, What kind of stuff were you listening to? What kind of people were you seeking out? Was there anybody that was somebody that you were listening to then and following then, and you're still following now? Anybody that you would recommend?
Nipsey Hussle, for sure.
Okay. Why him? I think most folks might be familiar with him, but why him particularly?
Just a true example of getting it out the mud. Nipsey Hussle was fresh out of county jail in 2008 and decided that he was going to devote his life to music and clothes. He put all his money, the rest of his money he had, he matched it up with his brother, and they went in on recording equipment and materials to drop the clothing line. And he built it from the bottom all the way to the top, all the way before his demise in 2018. So, but yeah, he's a great example. I've been listening to him for a very, very long time. Listen to like Eric Thomas, any type of motivational speech that'll get you fired up before a football game. You know what I'm saying? So,
Derek Thomas from the Chiefs?
No, E.T.
Okay.
Speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, E.T.
Okay.
You got Silky Johnson. He's dope, man.
Okay. I don't know him. I just know the Dave Chappelle version of Silky Johnson, and that's not who we're talking about, I'm sure.
I'm talking about Inky Johnson. I'm tripping.
Oh, Inky Johnson. Okay, I know who that is. He's definitely inspirational. I've got a chance to even see him speak up close. He's pretty inspiring, to say the least. I'm gonna ask one more question about some of your influences, and then we'll go ahead and get into the football stuff. What people be, drop this comment: organized sports, especially football, great way to learn respect, discipline, determination, brotherhood, and good sportsmanship. Yes, sir. You also said kids today, they always have a screen in front of them. That's part of the challenge. We're starting a nonprofit with children awareness and advocacy, and this is the kind of stuff that we want to deal with. Things just like this. So this is all good, man. I love the story about you learning how to wear a suit and tie. That's what I want our nonprofit to start doing for young kids. Teach them how to respect the opposite sex, how to respect themselves. We want to do all that kind of stuff. I might be calling on you for some invites and some information. So we'll get to that one. But before we get into the football stuff, the fun stuff, I guess you could say, what's two major lessons, Chancellor, that you felt like you received from the men in your life? The two biggest takeaways that you can recall from the men in your life, no matter who they were, but your two biggest takeaways.
Adversity introduces a man to himself. And
say that one again.
Adversity introduces a man to himself.
Okay.
And, realize how powerful you are.
No, I like it. So you had a dream, and you know what? And I feel like it's very common now that kids want to play football. They kind of feel like that's not even the most lucrative sport. It's as far as how much money it makes, yes, it's number one. But as far as how much a player gets paid, I mean, baseball pays you way more. But in my old neck of the woods in Brooklyn, we had some semblance of a baseball field. They weren't kept well. They were pretty messed up because it was in the city and what have you. But I tried to play on them and everything, and play softball and baseball on them. Just try to, I wanted to be a Yankee. but that's not how kids today look at things. My grandson, he wanted to play football. He's doing wrestling and track too, but he wanted to play football. It was like his main thing. All he cares about is football. Why did you decide that was your way out or your ticket to kind of get out from where you were and make a life for yourself and your family?
That's just the only sport I truly gravitated towards.
Okay.
I just enjoyed it the most. We played basketball for 1 year, and I didn't really enjoy that.
Why not?
Great. I was just never a fan of basketball, and we was like in 4th, 3rd grade, but we was playing for like the YMCA, so we was on the team with the older kids because the teams around our age range were already full by the time we signed up. So we over there playing with 11 and 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, and we 7 and 8. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
We scored one basket the entire season, like one basket, and it was a lucky shot. I closed my eyes and everything. So
you can't close your eyes when you're shooting, man.
Moment was big. The song.
So talk to me about the chase, man. The chase to have a college football career. Tell me kind of what how it started in the beginning and what ended up happening.
When I started playing football, I actually started playing football, the video games, NCAA 09. That was the first Road to Glory. Oh man, that made me fall in love with college football. One, it's like I would definitely want to play college football one day for sure.
Okay.
That sparked it, and that was just the goal. I wanted to play college football, so I made it happen.
All right. So where'd you end up playing? What position were you playing at? And how them sets looking?
I went to University. It's down in Florida. It's a small school.
Stetson, right?
Yes, Stetson.
Okay.
And this is D1 too. This is just small. I played defensive back. I played corner first 3 years, and then moved to strong safety my senior year. I ain't really get to play for real until my senior year though.
Okay.
But
As a strong safety,
special teams and stuff like that.
Okay. As a strong safety, right? That's when you really got to really play.
Yeah. I wasn't fast enough to play corner, but I was physical and strong in the mud. So
They put you at safety. Okay. When you decided the football career was just going to be over, where it just wasn't going to happen, when did you figure that out?
I realized that around like sophomore year. Like when you get to
what?
You get to college, I realized small school one, so you got to really, really be that dude to, you know what I'm saying, make a name for yourself to at least be even looked at. That dude that was in our league was on my same team. So it's like I actually seen him, witness him go through the whole process. He went undrafted, and I'm talking about this dude put up stats like NCAA record stats, like the whole NCAA at Stetson University. Yeah.
Okay.
Out of pain, but he like that. But like just seeing his journey, like I'm like, if anybody should be in the NFL, it should be him. And he got some burn. He played with the Ravens, played with the Redskins, 49ers for a little bit, Jaguars, and now he playing for the USFL, XFL. He's doing that now. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it was just
is he in the UFL? Is he in the UFL now?
The UFL, yeah.
Okay. So wow, like, that was my next question also. Okay, somebody famous came out of Stetson.
Yeah, okay. We got him and another dude, Donald Parham.
I know him.
Yeah. Tree.
I know him. I had such high hope for him with the I think he was with the Chargers. I had such a high hope. I had high hope. I'm like, man, that dude is so big. It should be like Antonio Gates, but this should be easy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what exactly happened there. I haven't been hearing anything from him, so I don't know if he's even still playing. But who was the first guy?
Steelers now.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So who was the first guy that you mentioned that was that came out? I think I missed his name. What's his name?
Donald Payne.
Okay. I don't remember him. That's interesting. Okay, but no, but that's inspiring though, man. That says, you know what? Even in a town that might not have a whole lot of notoriety, talent can rise up, man. So this is really good, man. I didn't hear what you said.
I said factually, yeah. So I knew around sophomore year, I was like, yeah, the league probably ain't gonna be in the future, but playing D1 football is something that I truly wanted to do. So I'm really content with this accomplishment. So I was like, once senior year comes, last game season, so I get to that bridge, I'll cross it. Then I ain't gonna worry about it, or you know what I'm saying. I'm just gonna live in the moment, relish and soak everything in. So once that came to an end, it's like, okay, well, you got to re-identify myself now. I got to figure out who I am.
That's good, man. I want to start kind of bridging the gap between that part of your life with your end of your football career and you starting to live abroad. Kind of talk to me about how that came about and what transpired when you moved out of the country.
Yeah, so once football came to an end, I immediately started applying for jobs. just because I'm just like I got to figure something out, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Try a bunch of different things, shoot my shot at a bunch of different positions, and see if I can land somewhere. And I was applying left and right, up and down, diagonally. You know what I'm saying? Far and wide.
Everywhere.
Man, I was landing interviews. Some of the interviews I'm getting flown out for, put up in hotels, the whole nine. But I kept getting told no, kept getting told no. And they kept hitting me with the same excuse. You lack the experience, so we're going to go with somebody with a little bit more experience. But it's like, I knew that was the case when I submitted my resume. It was before we said we already knew that. But I was like, hey, just keep going, bro. Keep going. We've been in this position before. We're gonna find something. And then I just
underdog mentality.
Yeah, that's it. Further outside the US, I said, okay, teach English kids in China. That sounds lit. Applied, went through the interview process. First job to sent me after 8 months of being told no on the other side of the world. And,
wow. You're in China.
Yeah, what we're gonna do.
Okay. So you're in China now.
Yeah.
What I'm understanding, you had your passion for writing kind of was born out of the situation in China. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so China was the best experience I've ever had in my life. The people were nice, culture is dope. Beijing is a lit city. Nightlife is crazy. Food absolutely amazing.
Now, hold on 1 second, Chance. I want to jump in real quick because if I don't ask this now, I'll forget about it. And I'm sure in Georgia you had spots where they had Chinese food, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, compare what you had in Beijing. I'm talking about compare down to the detail because I need to understand this just for my own lifestyle.
Yeah.
So help me understand that. So explain the difference between the two of them.
The food is just a whole lot healthier, a lot more natural as well. And it's just the way they cook everything. Like they boil a lot more than they fry. It ain't really fried rice and Mandarin chicken. No, that ain't. I ain't even see none of that when I was out there. So it's like
really
authentic Chinese dishes, and spices. Man, the way they cook things up with that spice, boy, it'd be so fun. It's so fun.
Oh, that sounds great. You got me excited, brother.
The main things I'm for sure. So yeah, teaching the kids was a dope experience as well.
Absolutely.
I was working with kids as young as 3 years old, all the way up to about 12, but mainly working with the elementary school kids. So yeah, I was having a time of my life, and 6 months in, things go left. I ended up getting arrested out there and served days. One day, April 4th, 2019, it's a day off for me. I'm finna head to an event, meet some friends. But before I go, I was like, I'm a pregame. Yeah, I know. For those that don't know what pre-gaming is, it's like partying before you get ready to go party some more. So I'm in the apartment by myself pre-gaming, drinking Chinese wine cooler, smoking some cannabis, get done, get dressed, make sure I got everything I need to go. Hear a knock at the door. Looked through people, and there was 3 officers from the Beijing police. I was like, oh, this can't be good.
Okay.
Come in, they question me about drugs. I'm sitting here playing the fool like I don't know what they talking about. And then they drug test me right there on the spot.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, it's
a game changer.
It's over with. So do the drug test, fail the drug test, of course. Now the cuffs on me. And all forms of communication cease to exist at this point. I don't know what's happening next. How this thing finna play out, I don't know.
You didn't get a phone call then?
No,
you didn't get a phone call?
What?
Wow.
But I bounced around from precinct to precinct, so I finally ended up in the jail where I was housed. And I was locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 men to 1 cell, 9 wooden beds, 3 soups a day, and all I had was a plastic bowl and a plastic spoon.
Wow. So you got to talk to me about your thoughts at this time and what were you thinking about? Because I mean, this is like talking about what 14 days, right? 2 weeks, right?
Well, at this point in time, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. Like I'm just in this cell. nothing that's been explained to me as far as how long I'm gonna be here. What are my specific charges? I ain't spoke to nobody. I don't. So I'm just in the cell, 14 other Chinese dudes, and I was just like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, hey, one, accountability. I gotta hold myself accountable. I can only point the finger at me for being in this situation right now. I made a decision that I knew the repercussions from, and I still made it. So now that things have hit the fan, hey, I got to take this to the chin, despite how it might play out. But deep in my spirit, I feel like I'm going to be good when it's all said and done. I know I'm going to be good. I just don't know what's going to happen. So I was like, just take note of every minor detail because it's going to be a great story to tell once you're out of this predicament.
Yeah, no, well, most trauma and drama makes for a great story, man. So you in the cell with 14 other guys. Were you able to communicate with them? But were they in the same spot you were in? Same situation, no communication, or?
For the first 3 days, the cell I was in, only foreigner, only English speaker. So I'm in here with 14 Chinese men. I can't talk to none of these folks. Like we kind of talk, but the English barrier. So it's like, really wasn't a whole lot of conversing going on. So there's a lot of time to reflect. 7
Yes.
So
first team of the year, brother.
But wow. I moved to a new cell, and I'm amongst English speakers, 2 foreigners,
okay.
Chinese American, and the other one was Brazilian from Brazil. So that's when things get a little bit more like, it's like, okay, I finally talked to somebody, and one, you start to learn, okay, everybody is interesting. Everybody knows all the information to the fullest detail, what their charges were, how long they sentenced for, everything. But me, on the other hand, nothing was explained to me. So I'm like, okay,
that's interesting.
So I'm learning how the jail operates, the rules of the jail, the schedule. I'm learning all this once I finally meet these dudes. So it's like they was like, oh yeah, they ain't go over none of this with you when they brought you out. I said, bro, ain't nobody said a word to me. I just been sitting here, bro. So, but I still.
Did you ever find out why though? You ever find out why they never mentioned anything to you? I mean, even now, do you know why? That's still a mystery, huh?
Man, that's why this book
no formal charges, no Miranda. I mean, nothing.
Communist country.
Yes, I know it. But I just thought that they would at least explain to you. You know what? You in here, and this is what's going to happen. Here's a trial date. I mean, and something. You know, not just throw you in a hole and just leave you there. So.
Right. But yeah, so just on day 14.
So what? Go ahead.
On day 14, they just called me to come on one random day.
So okay, so you're in. So yeah, let's rewind this a little tiny bit. So you were in here with Chinese American and a Brazilian cat, and y'all were talking, and you found that there were some disparities in how they were informed versus how you were. And then on day 14, what happened now?
That's when they finally called me to come on randomly, just one random morning before they even got everybody up to do roll call. It's like, call me to go.
So they just released you.
Mm-hmm. I signed my paperwork and then walked. They took me straight to my apartment to pack up the rest of my stuff, and then straight to the airport where I was deported from the country.
All right, so we didn't. Okay, so now we talk about a different aspect of the story now. So let you out on day 14, which is weird by itself. But then they also gave you a unpaid escort to leave. So you didn't get to talk to the people after school, the friends that you were going to party with. No communication. You just left.
Yeah. Well, once I got access to my phone again, then of course I'm messaging everybody and telling them, trying to update everybody as best as I can while I'm going through the process of going through the customs and all of that.
Are you in a place where you are not invited back to the country ever again, or that just
they put on a 5-year ban?
A 5-year ban.
Yeah, but that ended in 2024 last year.
Okay, so if you wanted to go ahead and reapply to that same school and teach the kids again, could you do that, or is that not allowed?
I could apply. I could try. You know what I'm saying? Where's it?
Okay. So what does this situation tell you about the pre-party life that you were experiencing? Have you changed anything because of that situation?
You said the pre-party life.
Oh yeah, the thing. What you were talking about when you got to knock on the door? What you were doing there?
Well, I just felt like that was just a place I shouldn't have been doing anything of sort. Because it's a communist country. Why would you even, you know what I'm saying, be around anything like that? So that was just a mistake on my behalf. And I also told myself that I wasn't gonna smoke when I went out there. I wasn't gonna smoke for a whole year while I'm out there. And one, because I didn't think I was gonna be able to find it. I didn't think it's China. It's strict, but you can't even get on Google without, you know what I'm saying, a VPN. So like, I doubt you'd be able to, you know what I'm saying, find any type of drug. But nah, that wasn't the case. But
Yeah,
I was like, this is something I shouldn't have done, honestly.
okay. No, that's a mature approach to this. I want to ask you about your publishing work and your book and everything before we close the episode out. We got some comments coming in here. It's my guy right here. We're gonna have an interview coming up. As a matter of fact, it's gonna be coming up very, very soon. His stories are amazing, kind of like yours, but there's even some more stuff that we're gonna get into it. You talking about Madden? Now, Madden was just a comment that somebody made in regards to what Chancellor was saying. That's how he started into loving football. He played Madden, so he's not advising that you go do that. That's just I'm saying what he did. Yeah, that's right. Madden video game. Okay, so now you went to this ordeal in China, which was probably one of the craziest stories I ever heard. You were actually booted out of the country. You said you were on a 5-year ban, and now you obviously have an incredible story to write.
Sure.
What was the next step? What happened to get you from that story into a book on paper and being on Amazon ranked #1 over 15 times? The bridge.
I knew I was like, I gotta do something with the story. I just didn't know what at that point in time. And it wasn't until like months later, I was hanging out with one of my good friends, DeMarco Reddings. He was a traditionally published author before we graduated high school in 2014. So he was like, hey, bro, you think about writing a book about the experience? I was like, man, that's a good idea. I don't even know. That's a good idea. He took it further. He took my phone, went to my notes, and left me a little outline. I started filling in the outline. And with me doing that, I caught a flow for how I wanted to tell the story. So moved it to a Google Doc so I could type it up. 4 months later, the story was written. Spent the next 6 months getting it ready for publishing. I took the self-publishing route and published my book. So I got locked up in China on April 4th, 2019. On April 4th, 2020, I released the very first book, version of 14 Days of Beijing, and I was ranked the #1 new bestseller in 3 different genres.
That's outstanding, man. That's outstanding. How's the book doing now? Are you still getting a lot of feedback from the story? Are you hearing, especially in today's climate, with all that's going on nationally, well, not just nationally, but globally around us? Yeah. What kind of feedback are you getting now from your story based on what we got going on in our country and everything?
It's still high up on the charts, especially the original version, the first one I dropped. Yeah, it's still in the top 10. And it was crazy to be confined for 14 days in China, and then you fast forward literally a year later, and everybody was confined because of COVID. So it was just crazy. It's like it was symbolism, almost like a foreshadow of what was to come. And it's like, okay, if you do get COVID, then what you got to do? You got to be quarantined in the space for how many days?
Confined again.
14. I was like, damn, that's crazy. So it was a lot of symbolisms, and just a year span. But that also, I feel like it helped catapult the book as well, because everything went on shut. Like right around the time the book dropped, everything shut down, everything. So it was like everybody was just in the house, got plenty of time on their hands. So yeah, it was just divine, honestly, divine timing.
No, definitely. I only got a small handful of questions for you left in there. We go ahead and let you go. How do you believe you've changed since the ordeal in China? Just you personally.
Yeah, I know myself now.
Explain.
At the end, I was like, I didn't know who I am. and I got to figure it out. And so, but it took all of that though, all of that, go through all of that to be where I am now and have the sense of identity that I possess, and as well as just the titles that I've accumulated just from, you know what I'm saying, putting myself out there and just trying new things and stepping out on faith.
I love it. I love it. A good bit of our listenership is podcasters and content creators. You even heard from some of their comments today during the show. We talked a little bit about that in our pre-interview chat. You know, what sparked your desire for content creation and things like that. But kind of talk to me about, you said something that I thought was pretty cool. You said people are listening even though you don't see likes. You remember that? You remember saying that in our pre-interview?
Yeah, thanks.
Flesh that out for those that are in the content creating, podcasting world, like we all are. Kind of offer some advice in that regard, if you can.
Just continue to be consistent in what it is you do or whatever you post. Consistency is key. And the more consistent you are, the more you show up on people's algorithms. You think about it yourself. When you catch yourself scrolling, just mindlessly scrolling through social media, it's certain accounts that you follow that'll pop up, and there's also a lot of accounts that you don't follow that'll pop up. But if you watch a little bit, you pay a little bit of attention to that person's content, it'll just naturally continue to pop up on your feed, even if you're not liking it or not, just from you just watching it. So it's like still have that same approach when it's you on the other side posting your content. And still people out here watching. Are they necessarily engaging with it all the way? Probably not, but they still watching it. So just continue to put it in people's face. The world
Very
can't
good.
keep hidden. So
I'm sorry, say that part again. You got cut off a little bit. Say that last part again.
the world can't respond to what you keep hitting.
I love it. The world can't respond to what you keep hitting. I love this, man. Just a couple more questions for you, brother. If you weren't playing football or teaching or authoring books, what do you think you'd be doing today?
Man, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
No keys from your childhood. No little signs. Something that you were passionate about. You put on the shelf.
If everything would have went as planned in China, ain't no telling where I would be. I would say that because I'm already overseas, so it's like ain't no telling what networking I would have did or connections I would have made. Man, so yeah, I think about that sometimes. Like, okay, man, if I had stayed in China for that full year, man, what would have transpired from that? Where would we be? Ain't no telling. Probably be doing something big.
Yeah, you're definitely doing big things already, man. Reach out to the aspiring authors because I think that we all have some kind of story that we can potentially tell. It doesn't mean everybody need to be an author. I'm not really advocating that. But sometimes a life needs to be fleshed out a little bit to kind of get the substance that will make a good story. Not just bad stuff happened to me, I'm gonna write a book. That's not wisdom. It's not a good use of your finances or your time either. But substance is a big part of that. But speak to the aspiring authors who may be on the fence and wonder, what, should I publish a book? I've been advocating and kind of sharing this episode saying, that aspiring authors may want to hear from you. You may have a piece of advice or a nugget for them. Here's your shot to prove me right. Aspiring authors are listening to you right now. What are you saying to them if they are thinking about getting ready to publish a book?
What's your why? First question, what's your why?
Okay.
Right, purpose of that, and then after that, do you already have the concepts for the book? All right, you got the concept. Now, as far as writing the book, have you already started writing it? Is it written already? You need to create an outline. You know what I'm saying? What stage are you at in that aspect? Depending on where you are, if you just starting off writing it or you ain't wrote it yet, create your outline. That's gonna be your blueprint. Follow the outline, just fill it in. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do, and then don't worry about as you're filling it in, don't worry about punctuation, grammar, and properness. Don't worry about none of that. Write it like you send a long text message, and you can always go back and perfect it afterwards. Once it's written, perfect it, you got your cover. Now let's just talk about publishing. How you plan on publishing?
I love this, man. I love this. This has been an outstanding conversation, man. I'm positive this is not the last time our paths are going to cross, man, but it's been a fantastic episode. Thanks for shouting out our listeners and viewers and sharing that knowledge with them, man. I know it's been a big deal. His book is 14 Days in Beijing. You can find it on Amazon. It's not going to be hard to find. It's a fantastic book, #1 in, of course, multiple genres, man. So his story is resonating. 14 Days in Beijing by Chancellor Jackson. So please check it out. And of course, this is if you get a chance, man, what I want you to do is because you have so much information, like how to find your book. If you have any websites that you want to share, please go to our YouTube channel and drop in the comment section where the I guess whatever show us we'll kind of be at, and just kind of drop that there so it can be reminded of this information. And hopefully you get more book sales and people are hearing more of your story. And it's resonating with even a greater audience. So hopefully we can help out with that a little bit. But man, this has been a pleasure, man. Any last words, man?
Yeah, man. I got a brand new book dropping tomorrow.
Should let with that.
Yeah, it's titled The Power of Becoming: 7 Pillars of Growth and Empowerment. It's pretty much a book of quotes and insights themed around love, discernment, happiness, success, adversity, healing, and confidence. And currently is ranked in it's a top new book and top new book in some genre. I can't forget it. I just saw it not too long ago. So
that's excellent, man.
On that. So yeah, y'all get y'all copy of that, man.
Congratulations, man. Please drop that in the comment section under the episode on our YouTube channel. We'll talk about that once we jump off. But thank you, man. It's been fantastic. For all the listeners and viewers, all the commenters out here, love you guys. Thanks for the support. We always appreciate it. Great job by all of you. And thanks, Chancellor, for jumping on. We'll talk again soon, man.
Appreciate you, family.